Hello everyone, my name is Aaron, aka Az, and I'm going to be bringing you some micro teachings over the next few weeks and months. So this is my first one. Today we're doing Terran Marine Micro as the topic. So we have 12 Marines in the left hand side of the screen, and we have 20 zerglings over here. Now what we're going to do is see how well the Marines stack up with a variety types of micro against speedlings. So as you can see, we've got speed zerglings here and standard Marines with no visible upgrades, no stim and no shields. So let's see how Marines do against zerglings. So here we go. So as we can see, the zerglings have got us around, and it looks like the zerglings are definitely coming out in front. So we have about 13 or 14 zerglings left over. So let's try that again. Okay. So we've seen that in the middle of the field when both units meet, the zerglings clearly come out on top. Now let's take a look at stable Marines. So we're going to put them on hold position. We're going to attack with the zerglings again. Okay, see if this makes any difference whatsoever to the outcome. Well, it does look like the Marines did a little better there, but have to see how many Marines zerglings left. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, we have 6 zerglings left. So obviously, what we've learned is that Marines on the move are clearly not as good as Marines on hold. So now we're going to add some more depth to it. Okay, we're going to try and micro the Marines in the middle of the field. Okay, so I'm going to start microing, and we're going to see how this goes. Okay, so I've seen the zerglings, and this is a technique that a lot of people use. They move and shoot. Okay, now sometimes this is very good, and in other situations it's pretty poor. So let's take a look at the results. Now this type of micro against speed zerglings is very ineffective. So it's better if I just stayed still and didn't micro at all. So there's one thing we have to consider. And now finally we're going to do another type of micro. It's called positional micro. So we're going to battle again, but this time I'm going to see the zerglings coming and I'm going to adjust my plan. So here we go. I see the zerglings, and so I'm going to move into the closest corner or choke I can find. Okay, so as you can see, we're limiting the zerglings' attack range. They can't attack a variety of Marines at once. So yeah, so look, obviously if the zerg keeps attacking, the Terran is actually going to come on top. So as we can see, by moving Terrans into a choke position or a position that reduces the amount of zergling attacks at once, we can come out on top. But obviously that's a little cliche, having a little choke here, so we're going to do it on the other side of the map. Okay, so we're going to bring the zerglings over here, we're going to bring the Marines over here. Okay, so we're going to use this small area to try our little micro trick, see how that works out. Okay, because in a real game obviously we're not going to have something as ideal as this choke. So here we go. Okay, so I'm getting ready to micro. I see the zerglings, so I'm moving down into my choke, and now we're going to see how we go. Okay, so what was once a terrible course, we're going to see if the Marines did better or worse. Okay, so as we can see, it wasn't quite as good as here. We didn't manage to win, but we did do better than when the Marines were in the open field. Another thing is, holding position would have also done better than that situation. So let's just try that one more time. Bringing the Marines over here, and the zerglings over here. This time we're going to keep the Marines in this position to begin with. So we're going to see what it's like if we were blocking up some of the ramps. So here we go, get a nice round with the zerglings, and let's see how they go. So what we have learned is that hold position Marines are going to do better against zerglings than on the move. And you know what? The hold position Marines actually came on top with just a small area where the zerglings weren't auto-surrounded. So I'm going to show you a trick now. We're going to set up the same situation again. So we're going to make some Marines, 12 Marines, and then we're going to make some zerglings. Okay, so we made 24 zerglings, the 20 zerglings, and what we're going to do is we're going to give the Terran, just 2 SCVs. Okay, here we go. Now, you might think, well, what's an SCV going to do? Well, it's quite surprising you might say that. You see, SCVs can block and they can attack as well, but obviously in this game, you know, it's not the same as Brood War. They don't have the same priority, but we're going to have a look and see how these two SCVs do just here. So we're going to put the Marines in this little area here, so not completely safe from attacks, but we're going to put the SCVs on hold position, and we're going to see how this works out. Here we go. What's going to happen? I want you all to notice something very carefully. See how the SCVs are still on full health, and they're not being targeted? That's pretty strange, isn't it? And look at that. That's amazing, right? From two SCVs having hold position and just a smaller choke, we were able to come out on top. But now, what I want to do is test the same thing, with the exception being that we're not going to have the SCVs on hold position, okay? So we're going to put the stuff here about the same we had before. I'm just going to leave them as is. As you can tell, there's no hold position. We're going to see how this force does. Will it make any difference? Once again, you can see that the Marines do come on top because the SCVs weren't actually doing anything. And the final test is we're going to actually get our SCVs to attack. Okay? So, grouping together, selecting, and I'm going to click attack with these SCVs. Okay, so as we can see, the SCVs both die. So what does that mean? Okay, now we still managed to survive with quite a deal of Marines. The point is that SCVs can actually block if they're not attacking. So now we're going to do something on a larger scale. And is that if you're in a choke area or you have the opportunity to move into a space a little bit smaller, you're going to do a lot better against speed zerglings in open fields. Doesn't matter whether you would do your little hold here, here, or here. You would still do better in the long run. But now we're going to actually add something to this to make it a little bit more tricky. I'm going to show you guys a special. All right, and now for the finale of the SCV and Marine trick. All right, so as you can see, we got a lot of speed zerglings, and we got quite a few SCVs. We've got almost 20 SCVs, and we've got our 12 Marines, okay? So with this blockade, we're going to see how well the Zerglings do, okay? So here we go. What's going to happen? Doesn't look like only one Marine is being targeted. What's happening with all these SCVs? Nothing's happening. So even if I have to manually click on the Zerglings to attack the SCVs in order to get through. So what this means is that, you know, when a Zerg is doing an all-in on you, you can defend by just pulling SCVs, okay? So we're going to try that now. This massive SCV wants to come help out. Alright, so we've got our Marines, let's just say here, okay? We got our SCVs here. They're mining minerals or whatever they're doing, you know? Okay, now the Zergling's going to come and you're going to see. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to go like this. And we're going to hold position, okay? Now, while this isn't the best example, the point is, when there's a mineral line, you could effectively do pretty well. See how one Marine is still there? The point is, SCVs are not a priority in this game, and neither are other workers. So, you know, with little tricks like these, you could definitely improve your play. Okay, everyone, so now we're actually going to move on to stimmed Marines versus Zerglings. So we've still got our speed Zerglings here, but take notice that the Marines all have stim, but they do not have combat shields, okay? So we're going to test the stim theory and how that works, what differences it makes to the Marine micro.